910.
Toronto City Council has 45 members. We focus pretty much all of our attention during the campaign on the mayor, the race for mayor. That is the CEO of the city, the head of council, the one that gets the most attention in the media, and the one on whose back we put pretty much credit for all the successes and blame for anything that doesn't work. But in fact, as we've seen over the last year here in Toronto, the mayor has only one vote. There are 44 other votes on councillor, and they're your 44 councillors. How much time have you put into thinking about who you're going to vote for council? Sometimes you want change, but change is hard to get, because to be a new rookie candidate, not necessarily even a rookie candidate, but a challenging candidate to come in and try to knock off a sitting Toronto City Councillor is very difficult. We're talking to one of those would-be dragon slayers right now. Her name is Brenda MacDonald. She's a candidate for Toronto Council in Ward 31, Beaches, East York. And she joins me now. We were talking a little bit earlier about the challenge with unseating incumbent Janet Davis, who's been there for 11 years, 3 terms. And I said I was going to ask you, we were talking about a little bit earlier whether Janet Davis's political philosophy was a good match for the community. You say it's changing in the community. What do you think, from your perspective, talking to constituents at the door, meeting them on the street, what would they like to see different, and what will you make your sort of top 1 or 2 priorities if you're elected councillor in Ward 31?
Well, I think the number 1 issue is communication in the ward. An example of the lack of communication was what transpired after the ice storm just this past winter, whereby many residents and ward members of 31, our tree canopy was hit extremely heavily, and there was really no communication for anybody north of the Danforth. So that made it very difficult.
How would you do better?
Well, I think we have to assess and look at how we communicate with our emergency medical services as well as our police departments. We obviously have to put into place more provisions to help out residents with safety, such as generators in schools, etc., in order to make up for the shortfall of not having places for residents to go in the event of an emergency in Toronto.
Does your ward have more than one character? Like a lot of wards sort of have a north-south divide at one place, or they're so diverse it's hard to go from one corner to the next.
I think the diversity in Ward 31 is amazing. You have Crescent Town community at one side, you have Parkview Hills on the other. At some point we have to meet in the middle and start a round table with residents and talk about what's really going on in the ward, because what happens in one portion of the ward will affect those in the other, in fact across all of Toronto.
So communication, one thing you would improve. What else would be sort of on your top
Well, I'm pretty sure
list?
Accountability is a huge issue for everyone in Ward 31, as presented in the comments earlier about conduct in chambers, but also conduct outside of chambers. So making sure that communication follows the chain of command, that we are using professionals in our community to work on planning, to work on transit ideas, moving rapid transit.
Which kind of transit do you think the city should focus on moving forward?
Well, without the $1 billion to fund it, I think probably LRT is going to be the best solution financially for taxpayers, at least in the 416 area.
So do you think Olivia Chow wants to go back to Plan L, or
right,
however many plans we've had, which would put her right out of the gate in direct conflict with the provincial government, who've already
yes,
said enough is enough. Do you support that idea, going back to the Scarborough LRT, or just moving forward on LRTs in other places?
Well, I would like to see more from, say, other mayoral candidates to see what the plans are as far as their transit is concerned. I think we're lost in limbo at this point. Our current councillor has flipped no less than 5 times as far as transit, rapid transit, moving it forward, to the tune of $100 million that we've lost. And if we look at that in relative terms about what that cost is, that's 1,400 jobs at a living wage of $70,000. So I don't think we're really moving people forward as far as transit's concerned, and we have to do it now, not 7 years or 14 years from now.
Thanks. I'm talking with Brenda MacDonald. She's a candidate for Toronto City Council in Ward 31. I've got about 30 seconds left before the break here, Brenda. Why should people in Ward 31 vote for Brenda MacDonald?
I think because we can do better, Toronto. I think that council chambers and our wards can work together and become a holistic, whole, huge city, which we are. And to push forward to outreach to Scarborough as well as the other side, Least Side, etc., so that our board is not so contained.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much.
And you can find out more about Brenda MacDonald if you want at brendaward31.com, I think is the website. We're going to be back in a moment. And hey, are you tired of waiting for a